Police, help! Some beautiful people are stalking me. Oh wait, never mind, it's just my subscribers. Hey kids, welcome back to the channel. I am Uncle Frank, and I hope that you are having a great day. Now, you all saw the title of the video. Today we are going to be talking about Star Wars Unlimited, my thoughts on it, and where I think it's going in the future. Spoiler alert, I don't think it's going very far. Now, before we begin, I want to say that a lot of my opinions on Star Wars Unlimited are from someone who has experienced a lot of Star Wars card games in the past, and someone who is a huge fan of Star Wars as an IP, and someone who pays attention to where Star Wars is now. You see, there's a lot of factors that go into the success of any given card game, not just Star Wars in particular, and a lot of those factors can kind of sneak up on you and compound and make what I like to call a problem situation. You see, there's a lot working against Star Wars Unlimited right now. Star Wars is kind of in the worst spot in terms of cultural opinion. There's a lot of people who have a lot of negative things to say about Star Wars, especially with how Disney in general have run the property. And for Star Wars Unlimited specifically, not only is it the latest in a very long line of Star Wars TCGs, but it's also being made by a company that has tried and failed to get Star Wars properties off the ground in the past, and not just once or twice, a few times. That was a very loud truck. So there's been a lot of Star Wars TCGs in the past. I haven't tried all of them, but I have tried a few of them. There's the Star Wars trading card game, which was made by Wizards of the Coast back in the 90s into 2004, I want to say. I'm probably wrong. Please don't quote me. We've got this bad boy, Jedi Knights, which it's an interesting game. I'm not a huge fan of this one. It used a lot of CG art here, and I'm not sure if that shows up on the camera, but that like CG Luke Skywalker there on the front cover of the demo, that's a freaky looking art. Then there's, got a lot of this, Young Jedi, which was another attempt at a Star Wars card game. This one was released around the release of the first prequel movie. It's got Darth Maul and such as focal points. Got a lot of this lying around. It's another weird one. I don't think it's bad. Again, I don't think any of the other ones were bad at their core, but they didn't last long, and there's a few reasons. Wizards of the Coast just kind of put their version of the Star Wars TCG on hold indefinitely. There really wasn't much of a announcement to it. Young Jedi and Jedi Knights kind of faded into obscurity pretty quickly. They didn't last long. I think Jedi Knights only had 2 sets, in fact. I could be wrong. But, you know, Star Wars has a long history of just kind of failing to capture the TCG market. And I feel like with Unlimited, it's going to be much the same. Star Wars Unlimited, at its face, is, in my opinion, definitely better than most of the Star Wars TCGs that came before, but not by much, and not to a point that I think will help it capture enough of the audience potential to stick around for the long term. And we've talked before about the 2-year wall that TCGs have to surpass in order to stick around for the long term, and I don't think Unlimited is going to pass that wall. Before we get into that, let's talk about what I like about the card game. One, it's got a bit of a unified art style to it now. The first set, Spark of Rebellion, did not. They definitely went back and fixed that. All the cards look like they belong to the same IP now, rather than looking completely varied based on the artist, which is a big improvement. I like the full art treatment that they give to their chase cards. I like the, what's it called? The hyper space treatment they give to some of their foils. I'm not sure it's called hyperspace. There's a special space kind of foil there that I'm forgetting the name of. And I do like the basic gameplay. I'm not going to get into the basic rules, but I've played a few games of it. I think the basic gameplay is fine, not too confusing, and it's beginner friendly, which is always good for a new TCG. However, I feel like the skill ceiling is fairly low for the card game as it is. I feel like, especially with the first set, it wasn't very well balanced. And that could have just been a me experience, not necessarily true of the game as a whole. But I feel like it also doesn't really do enough as a card game to make itself stand out, besides having the Star Wars IP on it and having a very nice pile of chase cards. Which, again, that's good and all, but if that's really all you've got, then you're not going to do a great job of separating people from the other card games they play. And if you can't do that, then you can't secure a stronghold in the market, which is unfortunate. The other thing I have to stress is Fantasy Flight has a long history of just kind of dropping the ball when it comes to their Star Wars games. They've done miniatures games, they've done a kind of space flight game that had potential, and here we are with a new Star Wars TCG. And this isn't even their first Star Wars TCG. There was another Star Wars card game made by them a few years ago, 2018, I think, was when it ended, and that also didn't do too great. So understand that from an objective viewpoint, it doesn't look really good for Star Wars Unlimited. And if things change, I could be wrong, but if things don't change, I don't think Unlimited is going to do a good job of surviving the end of this year. I think it could just kind of fizzle out and die, as other Star Wars card games have before it, which is, I'd like to say that's sad, but with the current state of Star Wars, it would just more be par for the course. We've had a slew of bad TV shows, a slew of bad movies, a slew of bad video games, and here we are with a card game that nobody plays, which is just state of Star Wars right now. But I would like to see what people who are more entrenched in the game think if you play Star Wars Unlimited more than like once a month. Do let me know, because I'm curious to see what more people have to say about it. I've talked to a few people about it, and they're just kind of like, it's okay. Which is, again, fine, but okay doesn't do well when you're trying to survive as a product. You don't need to just be okay. You need to be great. And Star Wars Unlimited does not look great. So this has been my conversation on the topic. I know this is a more negative video than usual, but I've got nothing but negative opinions on this subject. So there you go. That's my official statement on it. I don't think Star Wars is going to last the two-year kind of wall. So we'll see if I'm right or wrong. Anywho, as you guys know, please leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Remember, Uncle Frank's trying to get healthy, so every like you leave on this video makes you do a push-up in the next one. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. My previous video got 20 likes. That's 20. Come on, guys. Only 20. That's hardly a workout.